Hey everybody, it's Mike from Orderflows, and welcome to today's video. Today is Thursday, December 22nd, 2022, just ahead of the Christmas holidays. And, the markets had been selling off all day. So, what I want to talk about is, trying to identify a low using the order flow. Order flow is not about predicting where a low is going to come in, but rather reacting to what you're seeing in the order flow to, confidently buy off of that low. And, like I said, today was a great example of a market just, selling off all day, once the cash opened up. We eventually found our low just after 12:30 here, and then we rallied, from 88 and a quarter, or sorry, 88 and a half, all the way up to, to around the 46 and 46 and a half level going into the close. So it was, we sold off, from the cash. So we sold off about 80, 90 points, and then we recovered back about half of that move down. And it was interesting because, after the market closed, the president came out and, tweeted about how great our economy is doing. Market just sold off, quite nicely, even though there was a late recovery. So again, you take these economic numbers that come out with a grain of salt, all right? Because, numbers can always be adjusted and made to look nicer than they really are. Again, but I'm not going to get into the number. I'm going to talk about order flow. Now on Ninja Trader, okay, if you're not using it, you should. Just really quick here, I'll just show you on the simple bar chart. There are indicators on here to plot the current day open, high, low, close. You just open up your indicator box and you scroll down to the C's, look for current day open, high, low, close. That's what's going to put this red line in for the low. You can see the current low is going to be red. The open would be this, I don't know what color they call that, goldenrod, which is kind of a yellow, and the high would be green. So, where's the high? This was the open and that was the high. And it's a nice reference point. You can actually also put the previous day's open, high, low, close on there if you like. You just scroll down. That's named differently. It's called prior day open, high, low, close if you want to see that. And again, the difference is going to be instead of this dash, I believe it's going to be a hash. So square dash, whereas the prior day is going to be a hash and a dash. And again, I use the current day. I used to use the prior days, but I've sort of advanced my trading that I'm not really keying in on yesterday's highs and lows, but you still can, right? There's still important references, because when a high or a low is made, there's usually a reason for it, right? But order flow traders, we're just looking for at how the order flow comes in once the market trades a new low. When a market is selling off, we want to know, can I be buying in here or not? Can I be buying in here? Because if we can't be buying, if there's no reason to be buying, there's probably a reason to still be selling. And if you still can catch the move down, a further move down, that's going to be in your favor. But if something in the order flow is giving us some bullish signals, at the same time, you want to be aware of that, right? So you can take advantage of it because, oftentimes the market is going to find a low and then rally. And if you could catch this rally, this is a tremendous rally from, we'll just call it, off this low, 37, call it 91, 92. Even if you just caught it from 92 up to 22, that's still a 30-point move. So trying to catch a move off of a low can give you some good opportunities. But at first, you got to be able to recognize that the low is going to be made. Okay, so let's dive into the footprint. And, again, basic trading 101, a low is support, right? That should be basic common knowledge. And I'm sure people will argue with me because, honestly, if it wasn't support, the market would have kept dropping further. And, markets are always looking for a balance between supply and demand. When an area of the market has too much supply, prices drop until demand comes in, basically, right? That's the definition, supply and demand. Now, so let's just go back to, basically the cash open. And boom, once the cash opened, it's 8:30. We're just basically going sideways here for, the 15 minutes before the cash opened and selling immediately came in, right? We saw that big push down, nice stack selling a balance. We keep making new lows. This is our first sign here at 58 and a quarter coming in here. potentially some buying coming in. What was interesting is off this cash open, we had a nice strong negative delta, but still strong negative delta, 1300, so 3,490 negative delta. The next one minus 1354. Here's just minus 144. The market did turn around and starting to trade up. I mean, at one point the delta was quite strong negative. It was minus 861. But again, it's still a little bit less than what you're seeing before, minus 3,600, minus 1,300, and it's minus 861. Maybe this market was going to bounce. But you still got to watch what's happening off the order flow. You're not going to buy the bounce off of one green candle, right? And people say, well, candlestick guys, that's your pin bar. People know I attack pin bars a lot. And, because, when they work, everyone is up there raising their hand up in the air. See, I picked the low. This is the pin bar, right? The hammer formation. Well, it didn't work. Okay. Market just went inside. When a market goes inside after you're pushing down to a new low, that's usually a sign that this market isn't going to rally. I don't want to say it's going to make a new low, but it's generally, a market it's still undecided on which way it wants to go, right? If this market was going to start to rally, you're going to look for it to start moving up away from that low, not just sort of hang around and go inside. So we start making some new lows in here. Then we get here at 837, potentially another, there's another opportunity to buy. Market did sort of reverse here. Next bar opened up. You got 1, 2, 3 imbalances. You got a nice strong positive delta. This is your first real strong positive delta since after the cash opened. 1400. I mean, the strongest since the cash open was 415. So it's decent, right? You got the aggressive buying coming in. All right, next bar. Okay, can we build off of that? It starts to go up a little bit. It goes up. The high of this bar was 62 3/4. We get the 3, 3 1/4, 3 1/2, and then it reverses. The aggressive selling comes back in. So again, this was showing some signs of potentially being bullish, right? Coming up off this low. But then it comes right back down, strong selling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 selling imbalances, strong negative delta. You could almost forget about moving higher right now, right? Because while this was kind of encouraging, you got no more follow through coming through. Right? Instead, you're seeing strong negative delta. Then obviously in the next bar, more selling imbalances, a nice big strong negative delta, 1238. And, there was no max delta in there, it was 0. And a stack selling imbalance in there as well. And then we just break out to new lows. Okay, so, any reason for getting long is quickly dashed by this red candle right here. I mean, even if you got long off of this, say you bought it up here at 63.5 at the high of this red candle. By the close of this red candle, you should be getting out already. Okay, why? Well, here you've got 2 point of control side by side, and it was acting support in the next bar. So by the time this bar trades back into it, gets through it, chances are it's going to keep going, right? Because it's going to follow that momentum. Instead of having momentum up, it's reversed. You got momentum down. And market made that new low. Now it came down here, new low. Then a green candle here, a red candle with positive delta, which is indicative of the aggressive buying in this bar. Let's open this bar up a little bit, because the more volume is trading on the offer side. You can see the 411 here. The 374, the 453 here. So there is volume being traded on the offer. But what's that telling you? Even though you have nice positive delta, right? It's a red candle. Price action is down. So I know there's still supply coming into that market. Okay, so even though we're at the low, we've got the red candle with the positive delta, which is a sign of supply still coming in. Okay. I mean, just because you got the one green bar here with nice positive delta, other than that, there's really no reason to be looking to get long. And instead, you're seeing supply come into that market, and you make a new low. Come into 845, get another new low at 846. You got one green candle, 2 buying imbalances, positive delta. Next bar, positive delta, and it's starting to go up. Okay. Yeah, maybe. But again, it's not. The way it's forming in this delta, Yeah, it's positive delta. It's kind of growing, but if you're sort of looking at, the internals of the delta, it's 571 versus 438. So it's a little bit weaker, but again, I'm not going to split hairs and say, well, it's weaker. You can't really, do anything. If I'm looking at the max deltas, again, they're kind of equal, but there's obviously a drop off in here from the max delta where the final delta, again, not necessarily a sign that, that this move is not going to happen. It could very well happen, but you still want to, wait, look at the next bar for potential confirmation one way or the other. And next bar doesn't go any higher. It trades lower. It trades below this point of control. Strong negative delta. No max delta. Again, even though you got the positive deltas here, you got a couple of imbalances in this bar, one in this bar. It's nothing really overwhelming, telling you that, what, this could be a buying opportunity. Okay. So you have that in the back of your head. And then again, next bar, red comes in, trades lower. Doesn't get past the high of this bar at 57 3/4. Then it just starts drifting lower, drifting sideways. Again, no reason to be getting long in here. It's just doing nothing. And again, if you're trying to buy a low, the market should start to move sooner rather than later. That doesn't mean that it can't draw out like this, then eventually 10 minutes later start to rally. But again, if you're trying to buy this low, you're looking for the move to happen sooner rather than later, because as you sort of get farther away, if you're trying to buy off these two green bars and you're still here 10 minutes later at basically where you got in, sort of the reason for it is kind of worn off already. And then the selling comes back in, and it came in very fast, and we dropped two new lows. Whoops, not only that, but it happened very fast. I mean, you dropped to new lows and you just kept dropping, basically, close to another 10 points pretty quick. I mean, this low is 51. We dropped down to 43. So about, was that about 8 points, 7 or 8 points? And then again, no reason to be buying in here yet, right? You're just seeing one green candle. And again, sometimes what these green candles are after you have a sell-off, it's just people, they could be just covering their shorts. All right, the market sold off quite nicely. It's bouncing a little bit. Yeah, off this low of 43.5. Yeah, I want to lock in some profits because they were short up here, at 53.5, 54.5. It's a great opportunity to take profits, right? But it doesn't mean that the selling is over, right? And as you can see here, just sort of go sideways. Again, no reason to be getting long. Just because you got a couple of green candles doesn't mean the move is over, right? It could just simply be profit taking from the shorts from earlier. And again, market just keeps going down, down, down. Now, this was interesting here at this 915 bar, because at 915 here, right, you've got a nice big positive delta, 602. It's sort of right around its max delta of 604. Okay, that's why it's colored the cyan. And next bar up, right? Nice, again, nice positive delta, and it's building off of it. Okay, then the next bar goes inside. Okay, potential move there. But what do you see developing? Okay, you still got to watch what's happening here in the order flow. Okay, and again, nice positive delta, 755. So you got 600, 850. Okay, one red candle, but then 755. Okay, that's encouraging, right? The buyers are finally stepping in at this 38.34 area. Sorry, well, more like 38.39 this area. The low is 4 3/4. Okay, potentially, you know what? We can start. Maybe this is going to be our low. Okay, so you got to be watching then. What's happening in the order flow. Okay, you get this kind of doji candle opens and closes at the same price. Delta's gotten smaller now, so you went from 755 down to just 46, down to 49. Okay, you're not really building off of it, right? You're just sort of hanging around. And again, when you sort of see these smallish deltas, like around 50 more or less on the E-minis, it's basically just telling you that trade is evenly matched, right? Buyers and sellers are evenly matched. Then you get another green candle here. You break out to this sort of this new little high of this move up off this low. Nice positive delta, 263. Okay, this is it. You're rubbing your hands together. You know what? This market is about to take off. Then what happens? Lower. All right, it doesn't go anywhere. You got the red candle down, negative delta. Next candle down, negative delta. Point of controls moving lower. Right? They're not moving sideways. They're moving lower. Okay, so what you thought was this move isn't really materializing, right? After a couple of bars, you should be able to recognize that, hey, you know what? This move isn't happening. We've got the selling coming back in here. Lower point of control in this bar. Then it sort of pops back up here, doji candle, and then again, lower, right? Lower point of control, but it's green candle. People, oh, it's green candle. Maybe you should stay in this trade. No, you know what? You're looking for this move already to happen, anywhere between 41 and this high up here at 3.25, and it's not making that move. It's just going lower, lower, lower. That's your sign to take your loss, right? This move's not happening yet, okay? Because you should be, once you sort of make the new high off this low, then you're just making lower high, lower high, lower high. That's not what you want to see when you're expecting the market to keep going up, right? And obviously lower point of controls as well is not a good sign. But it's just more or less going sideways. So even if you're getting long and you're still in this trade, God forbid you have your stop way down here below this low at 4.75. You got a little stop at 34 just below the low, and you're long from up here almost 10 points higher. Cut it. Cut it now. Don't wait for it to come stop you out, because it's not moving in that direction. And then we do make those new lows. Okay, and then you just sort of hang around, right? You got the new low on the red candle. Next candle inside. It's an inside bar. And even though it's green, it's still inside. That's not necessarily a good sign, right? You'd want it to start moving away from the low, not sort of go inside on the low bar. And then another new low here, 941, 942. We sort of reverse back up. Another green candle, nice strong positive delta, 789. So you made a new low by about a point. You pair up this bottom, nice positive delta, and another nice positive delta. Okay, maybe we can finally start to move, right? That's what you should be looking for. Again, anytime you're off the low, especially on a move that's sharp, right, going down, you're going to need some sort of confirmation that this is it. This could be the low, and then you just contract on the delta to negative 48. So you went from 789 to 546 to minus 48. Not the best sign in the world, but maybe this market is going to go sideways and it's going to reverse and start to trade higher. Then you get another inside bar here, right? Negative delta stronger, point of control at the same level, right? So it's not moving up, it's not necessarily moving down, so it's not really giving you any signs, one way or the other. It's just positive move or negative. And then it goes lower here. So you got this 3 bar of bearish information, right? You got the selling imbalances here, the 2 point of controls, and you're trading lower. And then it sort of bounces up here and sort of gives you this fake that, hey, you know what, this is it, we're going to go up. You always got to be wary of these moves. The 435 positive delta, the 1029. I'd be looking for like maybe one more bar to go a little bit higher or sideways, and then for the market to fall over. It played out, a little bit higher, and then you went sideways, and then you started to fall back down, right? Because what you're going to really look for is, nice consecutive bars up, and you're starting to get, you got 1, 2, 3, but then it just went inside. Then you failed to take out this high here. And again, delta, the bars are kind of mixed, honestly. You got 2 negative, 3 positive, 2 negative. And then you're back sort of down, near your low again. You sort of break down, make a new low. At this low here, you got the negative delta minus 348. Again, you got some support here, right? You got the negative delta on the green candle. And the market starts to go up a little bit, pulls back, so you get the red candle, then it goes back up. A nice green candle up, green candle up. Okay, maybe this is it, right? Delta's moving in the right direction. 166, 482, 312. Okay, maybe this is it, right? Then you get the bar with multiple imbalances, stack buying imbalance. Yeah, if I'm looking at this, for me, it's all systems go. But I'd only be interested in getting long above the high of this bar, right? Because everything's moving in that direction, but it's really not until you get to this bar here that it really starts to look bullish. Because off of this, no, for me, that's not enough bullish information. Yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3 buying imbalances over these 3 bars. I do have positive delta. Point of controls are going higher, but it's really just sort of lacking, any strong thing. The strong thing comes in here with the stacked buying imbalance, the multiple imbalance, and again, the nice positive delta. But you still got to wait for the bar to close, right? People always ask me, why do you wait till the bar to close? Because, I want to make sure it's going to stay that way. Then how do I get long? Okay, I've finally got my catalyst here. I drop a buy stop up here at 38 because I still want this market to be moving in that direction. You just drop your buy stop in there at 38 because if this is really bullish and finally other traders are stepping into the market to also get long, the market's going to keep going. But then it just goes inside. It's like, finally I got my sign of a market that's ready to move, and it just goes inside. That's not the sign you're looking for. Okay, but again, it's just one bar. I'm still sitting up here at the stop at 38. If we can get going in that direction, so maybe in the next bar. What happens to the next bar? Lower. I mean, lower than this bar, but again, it's still inside of this first bar. After that, forget about it. I literally expect the move to happen within 2 bars. And it just keeps going down, 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 new lows. Right? Then again, you see some signs of buying coming in here with these positive deltas. Again, we're closing up near our max delta, which is encouraging. But point of controls, a little bit higher. Okay. But again, it's nothing overly strong standing out, even though it's positive deltas. Yeah, okay, but it's only 388, 257, 238, sort of going in the wrong direction, right? What you want to be seeing is, maybe the 238 here and the 388 here. You want to see the delta getting stronger in a directional way, even though here it's positive, it's getting weaker directionally, right? Which is not a good sign. 726 coming in here is a nice sign, and you sort of build off of it here. You go 2 ticks up, then you just go inside and just go sideways. Which is not a good sign. Again, if you're getting long in here, say you bought this high at 36, thinking this market's going up, and it just goes inside, by the time you get to this bar, you should be looking to get out. It did give you sort of a chance to, get out, I don't say at break even, but, with a smaller loss, I mean, you still would have taken a loss had you gotten long. But again, when you're trying to buy a low, you're often going to find yourself getting stopped out, right? Because a market can still keep making lows, but your RR is, potentially greater, right? Today we rallied off the low 50 points, right? So if you're risking, 2, 3, 4 points, but your potential reward is 20, 30, 40 points, you should have no problem with that. Okay, and it just sort of goes sideways, sideways, and then finally breaks down to new lows. Okay, and again, we made these new lows here. This is around 1040, and even though we're just sort of hanging around this low, right, the low of 23 and a quarter, rally up, come back down, trade it again, trade it again. Okay, every time we come down to it, we're trading a little bit less volume. Well, here's 55, then 44, 24. So it's decreasing here. Okay, maybe the selling is starting to wear off. We are getting some positive deltas, but again, it's not really going anywhere. It's just going sideways. One of the ways to really, I mean, if you can't tell this market is going sideways, look at the points of control. They're all sort of around the same level, around this 25. You got 2 a little bit lower, 2 at 25, 1 at 25 and a quarter, another one at 25 and a quarter. And it's just, again, there's no really standout reason to be getting long in here. Right? And you're just sort of going sideways. It looks like it's finally starting to pull up. Then the selling comes back in. Make new lows here. Okay, and just keep going down. Now this move here was quite strong. Obviously strong negative deltas. There's absolutely no reason to be buying on this move down. Again, go sideways. But again, no reason to be buying in here. Nothing in terms of order flow. And then, 1143, make a new low. I mean, we're just making new lows from 1135 to 1143. Start to rally back a little bit, okay? But again, it's not much of a rally. You're talking the low from 02, you're rallying up to 07. That's not a rally. That's only 5 points. But again, not really anything strong in terms of, aggressive buying. Here you got one buying imbalance, but here you got 1, 2, 3. Okay. Here you got 4. But the delta's, is still kind of not strong, right? 400, okay. But again, 336, 200, 200. Again, if you're going to start to pull off the low, you want to see some strong deltas. 800, 700, 1,000. Like here, this is only 111, 128. Now, granted, volume is, we're coming into lunchtime, 11:50, so volumes are a little bit lighter. So, do you think the market's going to make a big move on light volume? Probably not. Right? Then we start making new lows again. So there's not really any reason to buy. I don't want to get into the whole reason to get short again, but generally, if you don't have a reason to buy, you could either just stay out of the market or get short, but you probably want to just simply keep it simple and stay out of the market rather than try to get too fancy on stuff. And then, around 12, just after 12, this is, what time is this? 12:10. We made this new low, 37.93. We broke 3,800, and we're trading down here, 37.93. You got the the red candle with positive delta. Why? It's because you had some supply in here coming in at this 37.96. You got that imbalance. And then the green candle, right? Nice positive delta, 600. We got past that area of supply, so it's probably not there anymore, at least now. And you're starting to move away from that, which is good, right? Nice candle up, nice positive delta. But again, you got the positive delta 607, and here's just 458. Okay, it's still strong, but it's not stronger than the previous bar. I would like to see it as strong as or stronger than the previous bar. You got some buying imbalances. Point of control is going up. And then you get this bar here, delta smaller, 292. So it's actually around half of what the previous bar was. A little less than half rather. Okay, why isn't this bar going up more? Volume is decent. It's 2,300 contracts, but delta is only 292. You'd want something, maybe a little bit more price movement. Maybe a trade up to 3,800, not just sort of a compact bar with small delta. Because again, you're looking for it to build off of this, and it's not really building off of it. But again, maybe you're getting, you're thinking of getting long at 3,800. Okay, you drop in a buy stop there, 3,800, and it does pop up a little bit up to 1.25. And then it's just not building off of it. I don't like that you're going up on declining delta off of the low of the day. You'd want to be going up off of, more positive delta in the sense of it getting a little stronger over time, not getting weaker than turning negative. Even though here's a nice positive delta 651, yeah, okay. Again, you're really already getting long around 99, or even 99.5. For a move higher, then again, you're not, delta is 293, but you'd want it to be even stronger than 293. And then it comes in with a stronger negative delta, 500. So, basically forget about it. It's not moving. That's your sign. Okay, just cut this one, right? Because you're not getting that movement. The delta is not really giving you that sign, right? Delta is the sign of aggressive trading that's taking place. And then, you get that bar here. Again, sort of the aggressive buying coming in, positive delta, 236, stacked buying imbalance. Okay, but if you're not already out, in this bar, maybe it's giving you second hope. Okay, but you still need it to be moving. And then the next bar, it's a red candle, small delta of 65, and it closes on its low. Okay, so you had hope here. Don't give it too much hope. Let it happen, right? If it's not going to happen very quick, it's probably not going to happen anymore. And you can see it just goes lower, lower. So if you're not if you didn't bail out already, that's your sign already by this bar. Don't let it come down here to a new low to stop you out. You should be realizing this move's not happening and cut your loss. All right, that's where reading the order flow is going to help you by realizing I don't have that buying coming in here anymore. It's time for me to cut it. And then you just sort of go sideways here before you eventually break down to a new low, new low, new low. Okay, then you get down here. This is 1234. Okay, you're coming down, coming in hot, right? Minus 1,000 in the delta, 1113. Then a small delta, 39, which is basically neutral. Then 234, 500. At the low, same low, right? You're trading less volume, 1. Big positive delta, 766. Okay, great. We're at the low of the day. Now we've got nice positive delta. Then the next bar goes inside. What the fish, right? Small delta, 3. But the next bar is a bit more encouraging, 400. Okay, so you had 700, 400. Okay, it's sort of going, it's not building in the sense of, 800 or 900, but it's still a decent number because this number was quite strong, 766. I mean, if you're looking at these positive deltas from earlier, it's your strongest one in quite a while. Then here again, you've got 271. Again, not a strong number. It's not 700, 800, 900, but again, it's closing near our max, which is again okay. You've seen a couple buying imbalances here. You've got the selling imbalance, so it's telling you that there's some support coming into the market. So you got aggressive buying, off this low. You got 1, 2 here, 1 here, 1, 2 here, 2 here, 1 here. Then you get to this bar, right? Well, this delta here and this one is 394. Okay, so it's back up to a respectable number, 394. So it's higher than this 271. Again, it's close to the 402. Okay, wait for the next bar, right? If you're still not convinced, all right, again, you don't have to pull the trigger early. Let the market speak to you. Then here, nice positive delta, 876. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 buying imbalances in here. Again, you can see off this low. Well, these two bars are the same low, but you're moving higher with the points of control over 1, 2, 3, and even in this fourth bar. So by now, you should be saying, you know what? Maybe this is going to be the move that I've been waiting for, right? And again, maybe you're still not convinced. You say, well, you know what? The high of this bar is 7.25. I could get long 7.75. Just drop a buy stop in there. Let the market get you into the position. Okay, draw the line here. 7.75. You just wait for the market to come in, but it should come in sooner rather than later, right? It should be coming in either the next bar or the next bar. I like to give it 2 bars. Next bar comes in, goes inside. Okay, that doesn't mean that the reason for the trade is over. And then finally, it gets you in on the second bar, and then the next bar breaks higher. Finally, from 7.75 all the way up to 9, and it's again. Then you go inside. Then again, you sort of testing that high, go up a little bit, and then it's starting to go sideways. Okay, it's like darn, you're trying to buy this low and it's just going sideways. Pulls back, but it sort of pulls back to this area in here, 96.5. Again, even though you got these red candles, it's not overly negative in the sense of strong negative deltas. 34, 190, positive 166 on the red candle, 280. Again, it's sort of getting up to that area, in the 200s, 300, 400. I'd really start to worry. And again, it's just sort of hanging around there, hanging around. But again, the reason you're getting long is off of this candle and these 3 candles in here. But at the same time, you're not really seeing anything bearish and just sort of hanging around. Again, your entry is this 7.75, and it does dip down to 5.25, back up to your entry price. So you're sort of trading around it. Now, again, it's like you got long in here at 1242. you're about 10 minutes into the trade, you're just hanging around break even. I mean, you trade back up to break even, then you sort of come back down. This is the problem, right? Because I do have a time constraint. Again, I'm looking for the move to happen sooner rather than later. You know, if I'm 15 minutes into the trade and I'm at break even, most likely I would just scratch it, try and scratch it for either for even, or maybe a small profit or a small loss. Honestly, if I was doing it again, I wasn't trading today. I was out doing Christmas shopping. But looking back at this, I did want to talk about it because it's easy to look at a chart and say, oh yeah, I could have bought this and wrote it up. Me personally, again, that's me, and everybody trades differently. I probably would have just broken even. It did pull back again all the way to 3 3/4 before it started ripping. Right? It said this trade took a bit longer than I would have liked. Getting in around the 12:42 p.m. Before it finally started really making that move around 20 minutes later, just after 1 o'clock. But once it started making that move, it really picked up that head of steam. You get that late afternoon rally a lot of times in the equities. And, from this was your entry price, we're way up here, trading up into the 08s, 09s. You did pull back down again towards 9 3/4 before you ripped back up. All right. And then just, trading higher basically the rest of the session. So again, knowing yourself as a trader, right? And I know myself as a trader. Me personally, I have a time constraint, and I'm looking for the move to happen sooner rather than later. But again, not everybody has that. So again, if you're looking to hold it longer, yeah, you could have caught that move. But for me, honestly, I wouldn't have caught that move. But again, people say, then why are you making this video? It's because I just want to show you reasons for buying, because there's going to be times where this sort of sets up and then it just rips. In this case, it just sort of set up and then went sideways for about 20 minutes before it ripped to the upside. Obviously, the best moves are when they happen just like this off of this low, instead of getting this sideways action before it rips up. So again, hopefully you guys took away some interesting things from this video, about looking for a low. Let the order flow speak to you, tell you what it's happening in the market, and it's up to you again to put the pieces together to understand that, hey, you know what, I could confidently buy off this low. I think this move can keep going up, because to be honest, anytime you're buying off a low, the potential target is the existing high and beyond it. You've seen a lot of times where the markets make a new low, then rally off that low, take out the high, and make new highs of the day. Doesn't happen always, but that's a potential that you do have. All right, guys, so I'll end the video there. And again, if I don't talk to you before Christmas, have a nice Christmas holiday. Bye-bye, everyone.